All right. Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Betting with Brains podcast from your 705 picks, boys. I am Nate. I'm here with my boy Willie and my boy Marcel. What's up, guys?
Nothing much, Nate. I'm just sweating the first day of the ladder challenge. We need Mr. Marketing to get me a few more points, and we're good to go. Okay, so we're looking good. But I'm doing
Yes,
great
sir.
today. It's a snowy day. It's not a fun day, but who knows how I'll even get to work
Yeah.
tomorrow. Willie, what about
Yes,
you? What are
sir.
you looking for? What are you looking into? What are you up to?
I got a ladder challenge sweat today. Already hit one of the 5 legs. We need at the moment we need Austin Reeves to start picking it up a little bit, but pretty windy today. I'm not gonna lie. Kingston's a very windy city,
Yeah,
but other than that, been going good.
been going good. That's wicked, fellas. So biggest thing, football. Of course, 2 out of 3 got a nice jersey on. We got Nate rocking Clemson. Who's on the back of that, Nate?
It's a little Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne,
No,
Mr. Number Two in
no.
fantasy.
Sir.
Yeah, see,
Yes, sir.
I would say that Nate's got the best jersey, but come on now. Come on now. Justin Simmons, okay? Arguably best safety in the football league right now. I'm just going to say it. I don't know who's playing better, okay? But, as a Broncos fan, it happens, okay? So what about you, Willie? What are you rocking tonight?
Rocking the Connor McDavid, Edmonton Oilers, of
Like,
course. Best player in hockey. Probably going to be the greatest of all time when he's done. Can't go wrong.
No, you can't go wrong with that
I
at all.
like it. I like it.
Yeah, I mess with that. I'm not a big hockey guy, but gotta dabble in the odds a little bit when I get the chance. So
Yeah.
fellas, what are we looking for? Like what were you looking for tonight? So like what kind of bets did we have rocking tonight? I heard about your ladder challenge, Willie. What else you got rocking, Nate?
Um, it's a pretty light night for me. So we're recording this currently on Wednesday. So I got a couple NHL bets going. Currently not looking too good, but is what it is. We had not the best luck last weekend. Although we did chase some losses Saturday night and we did chase some losses Monday night, so hit on those.
There you
So
go.
overall it wasn't too bad, but I'm kind of looking forward more to this weekend. There's quite a bit of stuff I'm looking forward to. I don't know about you guys, but
No, for sure. The slate looks insane this weekend for sure. You guys have any bad beats over the weekend or over the past little bit? What are we saying for bad beats? This is my favorite part
Um,
because then we could see everyone's flaws. No one's perfect, right? We can never be perfect betters, but we can always give the community and give the people the best chance they possibly got, to be profitable, to have you know, fill up their pockets a little bit, if you know what I mean. So what kind of bad beats we got going over the past week, fellas?
well, I had another ladder challenge going over the weekend. I got up to day 4, and I'm like, you know, I usually do it on NBA, but I was feeling the NFL slate that day on Sunday, and I was looking through some picks, and I believe it was a 5-legger, and the only one that missed was Chris Godwin, 25 yards,
Oh God.
and
No.
that one hurt because
in the
the
shootout, of
Bucks
course,
the
too.
Bucks scored 30 whatever points,
Yeah.
and he's gotten over 25 yards in every single game this season. I'm like, oh, this is a lock, and just didn't get it done for me,
Didn't even get
unfortunately.
25 you said you needed, right?
Yeah, he
That's
finished with 16,
insane. That is
2
brutal.
catches for 16.
That is brutal. Nate, you got any bad beats over the weekend or what?
Yeah, well, Arthur Smith and the Falcons kind of let me down at the 1 o'clock hour last weekend.
I think they let
And
everyone down, Nate.
well, we went to Sunday. I was feeling confident, chasing my losses. I had a big parlay cooked up. It was Josh Allen's over rushing yards. It was T. Higgins over receiving yards, and those smashed. The last leg I was looking for was Joe Burrow rush yards. It was like $200 to win 1,100. And of course, early in the game, third down long, he scrambles out for the first down. Looks like he's gonna hit the number off that run, and it gets called back to a holding. And you watch the replay, and there really wasn't much of a hold on that play, so it was kind of tough from then. I kind of was like expecting, this isn't gonna hit. And then he ended up finishing with like 5 yards. I needed the 10.5, so
That was brutal.
that one got cooked. But
I
Yeah,
did I did tail that one, and that wasn't fun. That was the second one. I remember I even had a Josh Allen
yeah,
anytime. He was the first touchdown scorer of that game, so I thought it was looking good. You did what 200 to win. What was yours?
1100.
1100. I'm pretty sure mine was like 100 to win 16 because I added that anytime touchdown in there,
Oh, yeah.
and Josh Allen's odds were pretty juiced to say the least. But no,
Yeah.
I had a few pretty bad beats over the weekend too. Wasn't a fun time, especially with AJ Brown. You know, if you would have just got 20 yards from me, it would have been a nice little bet there. And then, like I said, tailed Nate. Nate was he was on. He was on one for sure. I really like that Josh Allen over on rushing. Josh Allen, he's a game general, right? He'll control the game if he has to,
Yeah.
and that's why I always like his rushing yards, right? Because he'll really run for that first down. He does not care. He'll drop a shoulder too. Doesn't matter who's in front of him. So I really like that. The Burrow, a little nervous about, but damn, he should have had that. And especially then Monday night, Garrett Wilson blocking the back destroys the fucking pick that I had. Brees 20 and a half receiving. That's easy money. 99% of games, that's easy money. The amount of checkdowns that guy gets and the amount of just pure possibility of him getting those yards because he's always prepped for an explosion. And every single game, he has that big run, right? He has that big pass, whatever it is. He always gets, a good amount of yards. But this dude could not get me 20 and a half. And it was a brutal beat to say the least. Okay, so we all lost money this weekend. Maybe
yeah,
profits, profit a little.
definitely,
I probably profited a little bit. Okay, I was still on the green on the days, which was good. Um,
I was in the red, but not too much.
yeah, for sure. And we
yeah,
can't always have perfect days.
It was a rough weekend.
yeah, I
Yeah,
had a rough Sunday for sure.
there you
Rough
go.
Sunday.
But
So like those long odds,
focus on the positives now, though, fellas.
exactly.
Let's talk about maybe some bets we hit this weekend
Yeah.
or in the past
Um,
week or so.
you guys, you had that big parlay there last week or 2 weeks ago. That
No, 2 weeks in a row, me and Nate did like a 70 to 1
Yeah,
the first week, and then like a 50 or something like that to one back to
30.
back Thursday
Yeah, something
nights.
like that.
It was
yeah,
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, me and
but I
Nate are
forgot
up
to tell.
good amount. This guy didn't tail both
yeah.
times. The first one was a little bit of a
We'll have
sweat.
to three-peat it.
Yes, for
Three-peat it
sure.
tomorrow night, fellas.
Tomorrow night's gonna be crazy. I don't
Serious.
know. Listen,
Yeah.
tomorrow night or tonight, I guess, whenever people are watching this, because it's kind of late right now, so I can't. I don't know if I'll be able to get this out tonight, but tomorrow or tonight, tomorrow night, whatever it is such a bad game. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm taking tomorrow. I have no clue.
Yeah, we got the Panthers and Bears for you guys wondering. I don't know when you'll be watching this, but
It's gonna
yeah,
be
not looking
tragic.
good. So
Because what was it? The head coach
I
of the
personally haven't
Bears.
really dug too deep into that game yet, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to be doing my research tonight and tomorrow. But
Yeah, it might be. It's not a very eye-catching matchup, to say the
Oh my
least.
God, not even close.
no.
But in the eyes of sports gamblers, every matchup is a new opportunity, right?
No, exactly. Who knows? It could be the game of the
Yeah,
week, right? They're
exactly.
both kind of mid teams. So when
I don't
when
know.
two okay teams go against each other, it turns out to be a pretty nice matchup. I find, especially even
Yeah,
that the Raiders Chargers not too long ago. I
Some good
really,
storylines there
yeah,
too,
hundred
with
percent.
Bears having the Panthers first rounder and DJ Moore revenge game maybe.
No,
So
exactly,
we'll see.
exactly.
yeah,
And the head
but
coach of the Bears, I forget his name. He went on a press conference today.
Eberflus.
He literally said this 3 times. So he said it started with Justin Fields is probably not playing tomorrow, and then he said the sentence after that I'm hopeful he's gonna play tomorrow, and then he said the sentence after that he's definitely not playing tomorrow, and then the sentence after he said there's about a 55% chance he's playing tomorrow. So nobody has a clue what's going on with him because the head
Yeah,
coach has no clue. I feel like what he's even talking about at this point because he said four different things in the matter of 4 minutes, right? So it's like it's tough to it's tough to get a read
yeah,
on the
it's a
game
beat.
almost because of that. Because Tyson's good, but Fields is Fields is Fields. He has his pop off games and everything. So what's I guess what's I always like to ask this question is what's like let's say an anytime touchdown score you might like for tomorrow. Let's start with you, Nate.
Oh God. Lean towards the no touchdown score,
No touchdown
man.
score. Okay. Okay.
No, I I haven't dug too deep into this matchup yet, I will be honest, but on the Panthers side of the ball, I think if I want to bet anyone right now, it's looking to be Chuba Hubbard, honestly. Miles Sanders does not look like the guy they paid to bring in. He's coming off that injury, came back, still hasn't really done anything. And I think this Chicago front is definitely a front you could run on. So Chuba Hubbard would probably be my pick on the Panthers side. And then if we're looking toward the Bears, I kind of want to stay away from that running back group because I know they got Khalil Herbert coming back. Roshan Johnson's kind of getting added to the mix again now. So it's kind of pick your poison there. We're not really sure what's going to go on. But I think I'd got to go DJ Moore as long as Justin Fields is playing. I think they'll try to feed him to get that touchdown. And if Fields isn't playing, I mean, Cole Kmet looks like a pretty good pick right now too. Badgett found him twice last weekend.
Yep.
And he's really been targeting him in the red zone, so I don't mind that pick
Yeah,
either.
for sure.
No, for sure. Willie, what are you thinking?
Well, we're going one on each team here. On the Panthers side, definitely leaning towards Adam Thielen anytime. Just because,
Yep.
he's getting those targets, he's getting those receptions, and if anything, like the Panthers are more than likely going to be losing this game. If by the end of the game you might get a garbage time touchdown or something, or like it might be a close game and he squeaks one in there, and then on the Bears side, I really love Cole Kmet. You-
Yeah.
Regardless of if Fields or Badgett is playing, like he is that red zone guy. Like DJ Moore, he might break one off for 50 yards and go in the end zone. But when they're in that red zone in the 25 and in kind of range, like
Yeah,
he's
it's really
that,
where he
he's that
starts to
great guy. And like, he's coming
Yeah.
off a 2 touchdown week last week, and he's just kind of ride that wave going forward.
No, for sure. I really like both
Yeah,
those.
for
I
sure.
like all those picks. Cole Kmet. I'm even thinking about starting him in fantasy this weekend because they don't know if Hawkinson's going to be playing. But I'm going to go a little bit longer odds here. Okay, and I'll tell you why. I'm really feeling that obviously Bryce Young, with the pressure that's currently on him after CJ just had a monster of a week, he's really going to need to try to take control of this game. Okay, because you know what? He obviously doesn't want to let his organization down, right? And everyone says,
Yeah.
the rookie's got to settle, right? Which makes sense. But then why didn't CJ Stroud have to settle? You know what I mean? Like he
And
looks
this
like
was really the game to do it. I
no,
mean, the
100%, and
Bears
this
were the team that traded out of the number one pick for the
100%.
Carolina Panthers to be able to draft Bryce. He's got that chip on his shoulder, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a game he's got circled for sure.
For sure. So that's why I would take Bryce Young anytime touchdown score. At the odds that they're currently at, plus 650. What? That's a crazy number. I know he hasn't scored, right? But he's a runner. He has those legs on him. I really am
Yeah.
feeling,
Oh,
especially with the way this game, I feel like he's gonna play out. He's gonna have to. You know what I mean? Like I honestly think it's gonna be stuck to the script. The under's only 38.5, which is one of the. It's not the lowest under we've seen this year, but it's one of the. It's on the low end, right?
yeah.
On that Bears side,
It's doable.
I really like Darnell Mooney. Okay, he's slowly heating up. You know what I mean? He was the number one guy there
Mine,
last
yeah.
year. I really think that, especially if Bagnet's still in the game, if he plays tomorrow instead of Fields, I don't know why, but it almost feels like Fields doesn't want to pass to anybody else, but DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I feel like Tyson, looks around and I feel like he almost reads the field better than Fields does. Because he doesn't have that chip on his shoulder like Fields does, where he could just sprint everywhere and nobody will catch him, right? So that's why I really like Mooney.
Yeah, it's really a whole different game plan from quarterback to quarterback. So it's really all going to come down to which quarterback's suiting up, and
For sure. I think
we'll have to take it by game time.
exactly. I'm pretty sure they're leaning that Tyson's going to start tomorrow, not Fields. And I'll tell you why. It's because all the odds are in Tyson's name and not Fields' name. So I'm pretty sure all
Yeah.
the sports books are taking Tyson to start. So I mean, they know more than we do. They're always like 3 steps ahead of everyone else. So I would just automatically
Yeah,
say that Tyson's probably gonna be playing the game tomorrow. But yeah, I don't even know who wins that game. Honestly, it's literally a toss up. So
yeah.
do you guys have
We'll
anything
see.
left to say about tomorrow's game?
Uh,
No, that game, obviously I'll be watching it, but probably gonna be a light night for
No,
me
for
anyway.
sure. It's probably gonna be a light night for me too. I'll be honest with you. I'm not very pumped for this game. So let's move into
yeah, it's a weird one. It's a tricky one.
yeah, what's your favorite Week 10 matchup? Like what's gonna be the game of the week for you? What are you guys thinking?
I'll let you start this one off, Willie.
For me, I think it's actually I was gonna go Browns Ravens just because the stout defense against a high powered offense, but I think I'm actually gonna switch it to Bengals Texans. This is obviously CJ Stroud coming off the historic rookie night last
Yep.
week. I I kind of want to see what he does against a team like the Bengals. Like the Bengals are playoff team. Like like just to see where he's at. And then obviously you got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on the Bengals side. They're always fun to watch, high powered. I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring game. I think the over under right now is 47. So according to them, they're looking at a pretty decent high scoring game. I think so it'd be nice to see how he does against the Bengals there, and that's probably going to be my game of the week this upcoming Sunday.
There you go, Nate.
Yeah,
What are
for
you
sure. And
thinking?
those Bengals look piping hot right now. I mean, they're
Oh
doing that
This
same
yes.
is
thing they did last year. Start off very cold, and now they're looking basically unbeatable these last few weeks. They walked all over the Niners, beat the Bills on prime time. They're not a team I'd want to face right now. And
for sure.
I'm gonna actually switch it over to the college football slate. There's a couple games that catch my interest, like the Michigan Penn State game. Obviously, Michigan being undefeated, but this is really where their schedule starts to get hard. They play Penn State, and then they got Maryland, and then finish with Ohio State. That game I'm really looking forward to. Then another game I'm looking forward to is the Washington Utah. Obviously, Washington beating USC last week in a crazy high scoring game. And Michael Penix right now is kind of leading that Heisman run where it's going to be a tough matchup for him because Utah's got a pretty strong D and they actually bested USC a couple weeks ago too and I know they got beat hard by Oregon but bounced back with a big win last week against Arizona State. So they're not going to be an easy match for Washington. I'm really excited to see what this Washington offense does against that defense. But my pick is going to be USC plus 14 and a half against Oregon. And here's why. So USC, the only time they've really been out of a game this year was against Notre Dame and we saw in that game Caleb Williams really couldn't find his ground. He threw 3 picks. It was a very ugly game for him, and he really didn't look like his usual self. And we know that USC defense is gonna give up points, but that offense is just too high flying to let that kind of blowout game happen again. I know Oregon's a top team. They're looking very strong. Bo Nix, probably my second pick for the Heisman behind Penix, but I really see that game being a close game, high scoring game once again, but I think USC should easily cover that 14 and a half spread. And Caleb Williams, the past couple weeks have been, is this guy going to be a bust? Like, at first he's asking, whatever team
I
drafts me, I need a partial stake and ownership, and he really hasn't looked all that sharp the last couple weeks. So this is, I
you
think,
know
a game where he proves that he is that number one pick, and he goes out there and shows it against a strong Oregon team. What
yeah,
do you
I
guys think?
I for sure agree that this is the game that he needs to prove himself a little bit. And now I've watched a few USC games this year, and that like I to an extent I feel kind of bad for him because like the defense is just not there. Like he's besides his obviously he had the one game with the 3 picks. But other than that, like he's putting up points and his defense just isn't holding it down. And like so like he in terms of offense though, which is what he can control, like he's putting them on his back right now. And
Definitely.
but I definitely agree that this is the game he needs to separate himself
Yeah,
moving forward
for
to
sure.
especially going into the draft next spring.
The one thing about Caleb Williams that has really caught my eye recently is that after I've done a lot more research on him, right? Broncos were in the running to pick him up. Um, it almost looks like he doesn't have that simple reading capabilities that quarterbacks need to have. And I'll tell you why. I actually saw a video where there was like a high-low kind of play going on at USC versus Washington. Um, and instead of throwing the low, which would be a first down, right? The guy was wide open. He had five yards of space in the corner. He actually was running around in circles trying to make a highlight play. And I almost feel like it's almost like
Yeah,
a Josh Allen back when he first started. He was trying to throw that ball. He's trying to make that highlight play, right? But doing that is not very consistent, right? You're getting a lot of 50-yard bombs, but you're also throwing a lot of picks. You're throwing a lot of, passes that are really tight that you really shouldn't be taking, especially when you're trying to go first round in the draft and get ownership in a team. You know what I mean? Like, I guess we look at football, or not necessarily we, but the average person will look at football a lot differently than, let's say, a scout would, right? They're looking at all the different things. They're looking at QB pressures, looking at all this stuff. But the stat like that doesn't matter to the normal person. Just like how no one cares about completions, everyone cares about how far can this dude pass, right? If he's throwing 70-yard bombs on the news, they're not going to post your interceptions. They're not going to post all that stuff. They're going to post the 75-yard bomb that he threw to his wide receiver, right? So it really is like I agree with you that this is a game that he really has to prove himself, and he has to prove himself as a quarterback, right? He needs to be able to get in a system, do what like follow the system, right? And not do his own thing all the time, because doing his own thing all the time will just bring him back, and that's not what scouts are looking for these days.
yeah, that also ties into the system he's in and
Yeah.
kind of what he's got on offense too, right? That West Coast style offense in the Pac-12 that he plays in. So it's a lot to do with that. But I mean, they're scoring points at a high rate, and he might miss a couple reads here and there. Obviously, stuff to sharpen up before the draft comes and turns pro and goes over to a pro system. But for right now, I don't see a world where USC does not cover the plus 14 and a half.
Oh no, for sure. I definitely agree
And I
with you
will
with that.
stand by it if I'm wrong, but I really don't see a world where Oregon blows them out in this one.
No, for sure, and I 100% agree with that. More than ever, because especially Caleb Williams you can never bet against him, especially 14 and a half points. Like, come on. There's no way he
Yeah,
doesn't score that, right? He was diamond up defense all the time, but like I said, I think a big thing for that team is going to be just making the simple read sometimes. Like realistically, it's just you got to go as simple as you
yeah,
can,
for
and
sure.
you see that issue with a lot of quarterbacks these days, especially because everyone wants to get their TikTok all popular. So what do you
So, what do you got for this weekend, Colby? What are you looking forward to?
So my game of the week, of course. Come on now, come on now. Did you even have to ask that? Monday Night Football, Broncos versus Bills. This is gonna be a crazy game, okay? And let me tell you why.
Yeah, and you'll actually be in attendance at that
I
one.
will be in attendance to that one. I'll be in Buffalo. It'll be a good time. It'll be a awesome game. I'm really hoping for. Um, the Broncos are coming off a dominant win versus the Chiefs. I mean, nobody can tell me otherwise. I know I'm a Broncos fan. I'm kind of biased on that one, but it was domination. It was like pure domination. We had them in a. They didn't even get a touchdown, and they were averaging what, like a touchdown a game minimum, 2, 3, whatever it was. Rushing,
Yeah,
receiving, everything.
three
Right?
touchdowns.
They have a
Yeah,
dominant offense, and we held them to 3 field goals, which is insane. So whoever had their kicker, is it still Harrison Butker?
it is.
It
Yeah,
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they still got Harrison Butker back there. Whoever had him on fantasy, they probably had some nice points from him. But other than that, the Bills are coming off a pretty bad loss and coming off bad few games. You know what I mean? The games that they won, they should have
they really
lost.
haven't looked that good.
They have not looked good whatsoever this season at all. Like especially for a playoff contending team like they're supposed to be, right? They're not looking good whatsoever. So you know what? I'm honestly riding the Broncos going into this. Again, I'm a Broncos fan. I'll stand on my word, but I know they can do it, and they have the talent to do it, right? They try to get it done, in which that's exactly what they did versus the Chiefs. So I'm riding that. I saw a video the other day about the Chiefs reverse tanking. So I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I'll hit the definition really quick. Where the thing is if they let the Broncos win, Broncos don't get a better draft pick, right? Thing is, if they Hulk smash the Broncos, then they might just tank. But that means they got to play against a generational QB talent for the next, you know, 10 years, right? Especially, let's say, Cale Williams is as good as everyone says he is. He's not a bust. That means the Chiefs got to put up with that for the next 10 years if the Broncos do it right. So, Chiefs let them win.
Yeah, but
They
something
make
to
it a
keep
little
an
bit
eye
harder
on.
on them. But, yeah, I just hope it wasn't that. I really do think the Broncos actually just outskilled the Chiefs. But, hey, man, again, I'm very biased.
I probably wouldn't look into it too much, of course. With the Chiefs, Chiefs are gonna want that one seed
Yeah.
too, right? So
And they love winning.
it's
They
pretty
love
close
winning.
for now with the Ravens. The Jaguars are up there. The Dolphins, until the Chiefs just beat them the past weekend, but it was too close of a race to, I think, early in the year to
Yeah.
let the Broncos win per
No,
se.
for
but
sure. No, I definitely.
sure.
That's exactly where I went with it. But after I saw that TikTok, I was spiraling for about 3 days. It was not a good time, I'll say the least. So
yeah,
that's your favorite Week 10 matchups. Nate, do you have an NFL Week 10 matchup you like? You're looking forward to? Maybe just watching, no picks, just watching. Maybe just a fun matchup you might like to watch.
yeah. So my Dolphins are on bye, of course, but Willie, I know mentioned this one earlier. The Ravens and Browns. That's one that was on my list. Right now, that Browns defense looks unstoppable. I know they faced a Clayton Tune-led offense last week, but 52 yards allowed in one game. That's kind of ridiculous. And then on the other side, that Ravens defense is also no joke. They're playing lights out right now with Roquan Smith, all of those guys. They are balling out, and even that offense. I know it wasn't a really per se beautiful game. It was scrappy, but they still put up 37 points or whatever it was, 38 points against the Seahawks, who are no joke really either in the NFC. So when that run game's going, you got, I know Keaton Mitchell last week broke out in the scene with 130 rush yards.
Oh yes,
Gus Edwards a couple touchdowns. When Lamar's feeling himself too, there's that team is really special and they could easily make a Super Bowl push this year. But that game's really caught my eye because I want to see that division matchup. Two big defenses going at each other, and I really want to see as a Clemson fan. I know unpopular opinion. I want to see Deshaun Watson come back in a Deshaun Watson form, man.
for
Like
sure.
I don't like what I'm seeing right now out of him,
Yeah,
and
it hasn't been great.
you know
That's
how
for
special of a player he could be. I know he's off the field, not so much, but I really want to see Deshaun Watson out there having fun, making plays again, and
yeah.
really balling out. So if they
You
could
definitely
somehow
want.
win that game against the Ravens in the division, move on forward, the Browns could seriously be a playoff contender too. I mean, they already I think hold the sixth spot in the playoffs, I believe, in the
Yeah,
AFC,
I
and
did. Yeah.
their
Easily.
division win would be huge for them. So
No, for
Oh, for
sure.
I
sure.
would love to see the Browns end up coming on top, but we will see.
No, I like that matchup. I really do. The one thing that turns me off a little bit is that they already played this season, and it
Yeah,
was a decimation.
it was ugly.
It
Yeah,
was
but
an ugly game.
see who played
Now
quarterback
I
that.
did see you play quarterback. I did see you play
Yeah,
quarterback.
it was Dorian Thompson
It
Robinson,
was Dorian Thompson
if I'm
Robinson.
correct.
It was
He had
100% him.
3 interceptions.
Yes, no, I get that. I
Yeah,
100% get that. But the one thing is that that defense was still is the same as it was. There was no injuries. It's the same as it's going to be now. So if they couldn't stop them then, I'm just wondering what makes me think that it'll stop them now. And especially if Deshaun Watson's playing like he did, I don't think they keep up in that game. I truly don't believe
yeah.
it. Um, They're probably, I would just guess they're underdogs. I could probably check right now anyway.
I think it's 6.5 points. Yeah,
6.5 point underdog. So I
Yeah.
don't know who I would take in that game. Like,
six.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know who I'd take in that game. I probably wouldn't touch that game, honestly. Maybe some rushing props. That's about it. But like,
Yeah.
I get the matchup though, and it's a good matchup, especially with that defense. And at the start of the season, there's always your hiccups, right? And that's with every team. It doesn't matter who you are, especially with the Broncos. But other than that, basically, what we want to like, it's just I think yeah, at the end of the day, it's a good matchup. But who knows what's gonna happen, right? I mean, it could be another Lamar decimation, especially if Lamar does Lamar things like he always does. Um, but yeah. So what are your thoughts on that game, Willie?
Yeah, like I said, like it was gonna be my matchup of the week. I really liked division game and all the points that Nate said, but it's just I think it's gonna have kind of like a playoff atmosphere to it,
Yes.
and it's obviously both teams are technically in the playoffs at the moment, and it's just gonna be very interesting to see if Lamar can keep this going. Like obviously they've scored I think over 30 points in the last 3 games, and if they can keep that going against incredible defense that the Browns have, then like Nate said, like they could really be a contender going forward.
100%,
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
And that's what we're thinking. I actually saw a picture the other day, and if you look at the last three Super Bowls, the colors on the Super Bowl logo matched up with the people that were actually playing in the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys saw that. But
I
one of
have
them,
never.
like last year's
I
was
did.
blue and
I did
red,
see
and that
that.
was Chiefs Eagles. The year before that was, what was it? Wasn't that Cincinnati and the Rams or something like that? Or
Yeah, it was an
so
orange
it
and
was
blue type
orange
thing.
and blue. Like it was crazy. And this year it's purple and red.
Oh
So
yeah.
everyone's saying that it's going to be Niners Ravens. But even then, the Niners are not looking very good. Like I'm sorry, they're not looking like these past few weeks have been bad for all 49ers fans, and they got a tough matchup versus the Jags this weekend. That's going to be a great game. Honestly, I might even not have red zone on. Looking at the rest of the slate for 1 o'clock, I might even not have red zone on. I might just throw on that game honestly, because that's going to be a good matchup. Hopefully hopefully Brock Purdy can pull it out because he was Mr. Relevant last year. Won so many games, looked so good. Got that injury this year at the start. He was looking great, and now he's looking like an average quarterback, which sucks.
And I will say, for San Fran's sake, it was probably the right time to have their struggles going into the bye mid-season. You always want to be playing your best football late in the season, right?
Hundred
So
percent.
you're gonna struggle at some point. It's probably better for them to struggle now, and I really don't think the Niners are. I'm not too worried about the Niners personally. I think they'll be just fine, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
only question I have is whether Brock Purdy is gonna be that guy come playoff time. Could he really be that factor that could beat an Eagles or you know what I mean? Beat the top teams. Last year he did pull out the Dallas game, but Dallas didn't really play their best football either in that one, so
No.
it'll be interesting to see for sure when that time
True.
comes. But
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess we'll see this weekend because that's gonna be a good game. There's a few really good games on this slate here, which is good. A lot of bad matchups
yeah, for
too.
sure.
There's a lot of really close odds games. I know Willie's probably gonna be watching that Patriots game. You're not really looking forward to
Yeah.
much. You're looking at a tank bowl soon. What do you think about that, Willie? What do you,
No,
what do you think the Patriots should do? Let me ask you, as a Patriots fan, what do you want to see from your Patriots for us this year?
I I don't want to see a tank season. Obviously we had our 20 years of glory, and it's hard to see that diminish so quickly.
Oh yes, very quickly.
And I think this is where Mac Jones really, like, it's not all on him, and I feel like we haven't seen his full potential because he's got no help. You know, for whatever reason, they go and sign Juju over the summer,
Guarded Jacoby
who,
Myers.
like, got rid of Jacoby Myers, which was our number one option last year, who was decent. Like, he
Yeah.
was a decent guy for us. and it just didn't really make sense. Like we don't have that number one guy, on offense
Yeah.
to advance us going forward. Like, and obviously we got a few injuries on defense. Gonzalez going down, Judon going down. That obviously hurts a lot. But our defense will be fine.
Yeah.
I got no problems with that. But it's just the offense just needs to get something going. I don't know if it's Belichick anymore. There's obviously he's on the hot seat a little bit. I've
Yeah.
been seeing.
Well, did you see what he did
Yeah.
over the past weekend? He actually benched Jack Jones, or what is that? Jack Jones? That's the corner, on the Patriots.
Yeah.
Jack Jones.
Yeah.
He also benched J.C. Jackson for showing up late to the hotel room past
Oh
their
yeah.
And I
curfew.
did see just today that J.C. Jackson
He's
will
not
not
playing
travel to Germany because of it. Yeah.
because of a mental rest.
Wow.
They're
So
leaving him at home.
exactly, and they told him he
You
can't
know what?
play.
I don't think that's the end of the world.
You don't think so?
No. We're playing the Colts in Germany. I think our defense will still be able to hold up against that offense. Um,
Gardner
you
Minshew,
know,
though,
uh,
he's been looking good. Like, not bad for a backup. I've been seeing some.
yeah,
Okay.
He's been looking like okay for a backup, but I mean, most backups in the league,
Yeah.
like you got guys like Clayton Tune.
yeah, but I mean, like their number one receiver is Michael
That's true.
Pittman.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think we can lock him up for at least, like he's not gonna go for 10 catches, 150 on us, right? Like
Yeah,
so I think it's obviously gonna probably be a very low scoring game. What the over under is set at. Let me check real quick.
it is set at 43.5.
43 and ooh,
That's pretty high.
that is pretty high
That's pretty high.
actually.
That's pretty high.
You know, I don't really see the Pats scoring more than 20 points themselves. And I feel like the Pats can win this game. You know, I feel like Belichick is going to cook something up for Germany and kind of put on a little show a little bit. But I don't see them scoring more than 20 points. Two touchdowns, two field goals, probably pretty much it. But then they might hold the Colts. They might hold the Colts to under 15 points.
Yeah, they definitely could.
Yeah, for sure.
That Belichick-led
I will add
defense.
on one thing to your Patriots. As a Dolphins fan, it kind of feels good seeing them finally collapse a little. And watching you guys extend Devontae Parker for more money than the Titans paid
Yeah,
DeAndre Hopkins
Oh
when
my God.
Devontae Parker was injured for about 25 of the 26 seasons he played for us. It
yeah.
kind
No,
of
it's
warms my heart a little bit, and I enjoy
couple
seeing
couple
that.
couple front office mistakes for sure this off season, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
I
that's where
definitely feel like
I think
they
Bill Belichick, the GM, has to go. I'm fine with him staying as the coach, chase that wins record, but you got to get
yeah,
a different mind in that office seat for sure.
yeah, like even drafting wise, like obviously like we took in 2019 or whatever it was, we took N'Keal Harry
Yeah,
first round. Like that obviously that didn't work out. And could have had guys like AJ Brown and other like could have
yeah,
could have really changed the direction of the team for sure. Um
yeah. That Cole Strange pick 2 years ago was always kind of
yeah,
weird to
Cole
me.
Yeah.
In the
yeah.
guard, and
And he hasn't
really
really
everyone had him as like a day two, early day
yeah,
three guy in the draft, and that was
yeah,
kind of a
definitely
strange one,
definitely caught everyone a little off guard with that.
unintended.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So talking about drafts, one last question before we get out of here. Who do you guys think? Who do you guys got for defensive rookie of the year so far? The reason why I ask is because I feel like offensive rookie of the year is pretty. I mean, pretty easy to say who's got
Yeah,
that.
Stroud's kind of running away with
Stroud's
that.
gonna run away with that. Worst case scenario.
I gotta go Jalen Carter,
You think so?
man. That guy's just a force.
Okay.
You see, obviously the sacks. I'm not a big sack guy when it comes to stats. I think sacks are very misleading. Whereas you look at his pressure rate, you look at his win rate, you look at his double team rate, it's all 5 in the league, and in the interior especially most of your snaps to be top 5 in win rate and pressure rate, it's special, man. And I know he had his off the field issues where he kind of fell in the draft, but there's definitely going to be some teams regretting not pulling the trigger on him for sure.
100%, 100%. Willie, what are you thinking?
I completely agree. Like there's really no one else. Like maybe Witherspoon's up there. Um,
Yeah.
but
He's
like it's just
looking he's looking like a young Aaron Donald right now. It's
like it's just
special what we're
yeah, like it's
seeing
just
from
so
him
dominant, and I think
on a
like
unit that was already strong.
teams are playing him already like he's been in the league for 5 years. So um,
Yeah.
I think it's his award to lose at this point in the season.
100%,
Yeah,
100%.
for
I
sure.
definitely agree with you. So the top three right now, if you didn't know, Jalen Carter, big favorite, minus 320. It's a pretty big favorite. And then you got
Yeah.
Witherspoon right after that. And then you got Brian Branch. Now, I think Brian
So
Branch is
it's
a
really
very
a two-man race.
well. I wouldn't say it's a two-man race because Brian Branch is, of course, they're Witherspoon and Carter are way miles ahead of, you know,
Yeah.
are way miles ahead, and I think that's strictly because the almost Jalen Carter himself, he has a lot of guys around him that could help. You know what I mean? Like he's got all the guys on the line. You know that
That's
Philly
true.
defense, especially with just adding Byard, right? There's a lot of threats on that field that they cannot just focus on Carter, and that's I feel like how teams lose to Philly. Is they're focusing like especially linemen when
Yeah,
you're
no, he's
double teaming them.
definitely placed in the best
A
situation
hundred percent,
possible.
100%.
And I mean, props on him though. He's wrecking games up front, and he's looking like an absolute stud. So
No, for sure. I
Yeah,
definitely agree.
and there's still 9 games left of the
Yeah,
9 weeks left of the season, right? Like
yeah,
anything can happen.
like injuries, everything like that.
Just some guy could have an insane 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row and just catapult themselves to the front of the race a little bit. But
Exactly.
yeah, again, like I think it's at this moment in the season, it's Jalen Carter's award to
No,
lose.
for sure. Jalen Carter is definitely the one to lose. Actually, funny enough, Nate. I think you were there with me when Brian Branch picked off Mahomes in that first game. Bet him for
yeah,
defensive rookie of the
yeah,
year.
for sure.
It's went better than I thought it would. Right? At least he's top three. It's not really. It's still not close. I think I could have got better odds betting him now than I did back then. But basically, yeah. So I mean, I feel like that one there is going to be, of course, it's going to be a toss up, especially because it's halfway through the season. Especially linemen, they're getting hurt all the time. Not necessarily saying that Jalen Carter's going to get hurt, but I feel like he has a better odds of getting hurt than, let's say, a corner. People like that aren't really in the mud like that. So yeah, I guess we'll see. But last question,
Yeah, for sure.
last question. While we're on the subject of awards too, comeback player of the year. At the start of the season, Damar Hamlin was a favorite by minus 1,500. Crazy favorite. They knew he was going to get it. Right this second, he's minus 175. Everyone said he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. I was telling people, he needs to play the game to get that award. And I get what happened last year. It was a tragedy on the football field.
Yeah,
Never seen it before, right? It stopped a lot of people and it made people think, right? But at the end of the day, he needed to play something this year. He needed to do something because I don't even think he's played a snap yet. He might have played one or two in that game that Josh Boyer was out, but other than that, I think he's been activated, but I don't think he's actually played a snap yet. So,
yeah. He played a few special team
yeah,
snaps against the Dolphins, I think, in Week 4, and that was the only game he's been activated for.
exactly. And that's what I'm saying is that how can you give something comeback player of the year if he literally if he hasn't came back yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's an argument to be had for sure. I think kind of just with the situation that happened, like just to be able to come back and even return to practice and football activities is kind of special in its own right, right? Like
Yeah.
for
we've
sure.
kind of never really seen a situation like this happen before, so it's it's tough to gouge. Like you could look at a guy like Tua, who I think is second in odds
He
right
is
now.
second
Don't
right
get
now.
me wrong, but where he had his couple concussions, and there was Instagram doctors everywhere saying, "Oh, he needs to retire. He should not take the field this year." And well, he takes the field, and he's playing his best football we've seen since his Alabama days. So it's like another conversation where you could have like any other year. Kind of goes to Tua, but this year kind of feels like it's Damar Hamlin's award just for even returning
Yeah,
to
just the
football
situation, everything
activity.
that happened.
So,
Like just the the circumstance around it, and like all the good that came after the fact as well. Like all his
yeah,
foundation, went through through the roof, all that kind of stuff too. So I think, and he did play in a game. Obviously, it's not, he's not starting or anything. Like he's not back to where he was, but you know, to get back to even just game speed, playing a
yeah,
game, that's pretty unreal.
Yeah, just even putting on the pads again, right? Because that's probably super traumatic kind of thing, right? Just like getting in a
Yeah,
car accident and
it's
almost
too, like
dying, and then
you gotta like he could have easily said like, hey, like this is, you know, I don't really want that to happen again, and
could have got paid out the rest of his
yeah.
contract
It's a
too,
big
right?
mental hump to get
Yeah.
past. Like
for
Oh,
sure.
for sure,
massive.
100%. And now that's where my next question comes in. Okay, are should sports books be allowing bets on this subject? Because you know what, they're almost baiting. I feel like because before when let's say you gamble on this before, because a lot of people like futures, of course, gives you something to look forward to the whole season, makes it so you kind of don't have to bet the whole season. You got still stuff to look forward to, just like the same reason why we play fantasy football kind of thing. Our sports books almost baiting these odds for you to take someone else. For example, like you got two at plus 300, you got Damar Hamlin at minus 175. That's It's not super close, but it's close enough to where you might take it, right, and put some money on it. So now, if the NFL is thinking, like in my mind, he already won this award, Damar Hamlin, right? Because just the way that he comes back, and in everyone's mind, he probably already won the award, right? So should sportsbooks
Yeah,
be actually taking bets on this?
it's a discussion for sure. I think if most of these writers who do the voting, you kind of figure it's Damar Hamlin's award already. So if the sports book want to put out nice odds for people to bet on Tua or Lamar or whoever, I mean, it's free money for them, right? So
That's true, but that's where I'm asking if it's almost like I know, of course, sportsbooks they always got their own odds in their head, right? That's why they post the odds. They always make money either way. It's free money for them, but that's where it's almost I'm trying to think of the word, but it's almost not right for them to take money on that.
yeah,
So that's where I'm coming from. Is that
well,
of course sportsbooks always been
it's never
right or wrong.
it's
Like
never a future I touch
yeah,
per se, but no, I do agree with that in a sense. Like it's inside, I feel like it's already his award. Like people in the NFL have probably decided this months ago that it's
no,
his award
100%.
to lose. So it's really up to the bettor that, do I want to risk betting on Hamlin at minus money and waiting the 5 months for it to return? I it's never something I wanted to touch personally, but
hmm
everyone's got
What do you think about that, Willie?
their own right to do it.
It is a little bit of a different feel towards the award, because obviously, like throughout the season, I mean, because obviously, you bet someone to win MVP, you want them to excel throughout the entire season, and then comeback player, especially in Damar Hamlin's case, like yeah, he came back for a game, but then hasn't really played since. So it's like it's hard to justify betting on an award that you can't really watch them progress throughout the season.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right.
So comeback player of the year though originally is the comeback player of the year. Someone in my mind that had it that would have a chance to win it this year. That's not DeMar Hamlin. Let's say this was a normal football season. The tragic incidents didn't happen last year. Okay? Joshua Dobbs. That's an easy candidate for comeback player of the year so far. If he keeps up with what he's doing, because of last year, the years before that, like he's came back, right? You know, you got 2018, he had 43 yards passing in the whole year. You got 2020, he only had 2 yards passing. 2022, he had 411 because he started for the Titans for a little bit there, and then 2023, in just what we're in week 10 now, he's already had 1,700 yards passing. Granted, he did start this year compared to the last years, but he was a backup last year, right? And he took over that starting position. And especially, he's got a good case of events, right? You got Kyler Murray being hurt, and then you got Kirk Cousins going down. But it's looking like Dobbs is going to start for the Vikings for the rest of the year with the way he's playing, right? So I think that would be
Yeah,
personally
for
a
sure.
great case for comeback player of the year. So that's why I'm kind of bringing up.
Where my thoughts, sorry, where my thoughts stand on that is, I think the NFL needs to have a most improved player like the NBA.
Mhm,
So like, this comeback player to me is someone who was at that level, either had a big drop off or a big injury, and came back up to that level and performed at the level they were at
that's true.
before or exceeded the level they were at before. Kind of like Gino last year, where he was that high draft pick. He he's not really a perfect example because he never was really
Yeah,
that good, but he came off the bench after like 7, 8 years, was it? And then played at a high level, right? But it was another one I'm thinking is maybe Saquon Barkley in
yeah,
previous years, where he was at that high level, had a boatload of injuries, but came back at a super high level and maintained that high level where he didn't come back and play like a lesser version of himself. He came back and was that Saquon Barkley we know, right?
exactly for
'Cause
sure.
Yeah.
that's where I kind of think comeback player of the year is,
Yeah.
where Josh Dobbs would be maybe a good candidate for a most improved
That's
player.
true. No, you got a point for sure. I think that's a smart idea though, adding some sort of word like that because I don't necessarily know if it's clear
Yeah.
enough, right? Especially to be taking bets on it. Like there's a lot of different
Right.
things that sportsbooks shouldn't be taking bets on. For example, Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis. Why were they taking bets on that after what happened? Right, like little things like
Yeah.
that. It's like I don't know if you should be betting on it should be betting on professional sports, right? Just like if you bet on Japanese ping pong at 3 in the morning. Like I don't know if you should be taking bets on that because who knows if it's rigged? Who knows all this stuff? There's a lot of different things that go on, right? And that's kind of where my thing stands is that almost sportsbooks need to tighten up a little bit, especially on little things like that. Because someone that's addicted to gambling, right, is going to gamble on whatever they possibly can at the end of the day. So that's why they need to make sure that there's
You got
there's
a point for sure.
there's going to be gambles that are going to actually be somewhat in your favor, right? And there's going to be little things like that always happening. I know it's never going to be perfect because it never is. There's always sketchy things in the industry, but yeah. So anybody have any final thoughts about what we just talked about?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, what are the fellas thinking? Should we wrap up? That was
And
a pretty
I,
long podcast.
yeah, I think
Yeah, but
seems like a good time to wrap up. So before we go, follow get the Instagram, formerly known Twitter, now is X, TikTok at 705 Picks, and you'll see there on all platforms a link to our Discord. That is where we make our picks, we share our picks, and we make you guys money. So yeah, feel free to sign up, join. Mean a lot to us, and we want to build a community where you guys are involved, right? And making everyone money. So
Exactly, and that's what our plan is. Fill up your pockets. Let's get it going. And then, fellas, any last words? Nothing?
No,
Cool.
I think
All right.
that's it for
Yep,
me.
yep.
Give me
So
Yuri
you
round 4
signed up.
submission. That's it. That's how I'm closing it off. Round 4 submission. All right. Thank you for everyone for listening and watching. Just, do the stuff that Nate just said and have a good one. We'll be back next week.
Thank you guys. Till next time.
Peace.